أولى ثانوي. فرصة جديدة وحلم جديد وهنعديها بالتأكيد، وهنعديها بالتأكيد. أولى ثانوي.
Dear secondary stage students, year 1, welcome to our English program and welcome to our channel Madrasetna 3 under the supervision of the Ministry of Education. أهلا بكم أعزائي طلبة وطالبات الصف الأول الثانوي وحلقة جديدة وقناتكم قناة مدرستنا تحت إشراف وزارة التربية والتعليم. Today we are going to start Unit 4. Unit 4, making new friends. Do you find it easy to make new friends? If you are in a new school or in a new town, do you find it easy to make friends? Here in this lesson, we are going to take some advice how to make friends. We are going to scan a text for details and we are going to learn some new vocab. We are going to take some advice how to give advice to people. Let's start together. Look at these pictures. In these pictures, we have some ideas how to make friends. What can teenagers do to make friends in a new town? If you are in a new town and you want to make friends with people, what can you do? Here are some ideas you can learn from these pictures. Picture 1, look at picture 1. What can we do? Yes, we can go shopping together. And picture 2, what can we do? We can go online, we can use social media websites, Facebook, WhatsApp, and so on in order to make friends. We have social media friends. And we can also join a team. If you join a team, if you play a game which you like with other people, you will be friends together. So here are some advice for you. Now look at the word advice. What is the difference between the word advice with letter C and the word advise with letter S? And you notice that the pronunciation is different. You say advise, this is a noun, and advise, this is a verb. So advice is an opinion someone gives you. It's an uncountable noun. You can't make it plural. And it's opinion. Someone gives his opinion in order to help you. He gave me some advice. Look at the word advice. We cannot make it plural. We use some advice, some useful advice. What about the verb advise? Our teacher always advises us to study hard and not to waste our time. Advise us to study hard and not to waste our time. We can also say give advice and we can say ask for advice. Look at this picture, the word notes board. What is a notes board? At school, we find a board on which we put the important news. So the notes board is a board on the wall where people put information. So look at this sentence. You can see the timetable of the exam on the notes board. If you want to know when is the exam, you can see it on the notes board, as you see here in the picture. We have an important expression here, take something for granted. What is to take something for granted? To take something for granted means to think that this thing is true and it will stay the same all the time. You find something that it is true and it will never change. Don't take it for granted that you will succeed in the exam. You have to study hard. So don't think that it is something true that all people succeed in the exam. No, people must work hard in order to succeed. We shouldn't take, for example, the inventions for granted. We should value these inventions. So when I say don't take it for granted, don't think that this thing will stay forever, and you should do your best in order to take this thing. So take something for granted means to think that something will be true and will be the same all the time. What about the word teammate? Look at the picture here. We have some members in a team. They play the same game together, so they are teammates. What's a teammate? Teammate is a fellow member in a team. Is a fellow member in a team. Someone who plays the same game with me in a team is my teammate. We can say roommate, someone who shares the same room with me is my roommate. We can say classmate, the person who shares our class together, so he is a classmate. So the word mate means a fellow, someone who is always with me in this place. So my teammates are very friendly and helpful. We have the word connect. The word connect can have several prepositions. We can say connect to, connect with. So look at these sentences. Connect the printer to the computer. If you wanted to print something, you connect the printer to the computer. So what's it to connect? To join together, to link something with another. So connect the printer to the computer. I can't connect with my students. Means I can't contact or communicate with them. I can't connect with the students, they are offline. So I cannot reach them, they are offline. Connection is a noun, and again it takes to or with or between. So what's a connection? Connection means a link. So the connection between the computer and the internet has stopped. Okay, so the verb is connect and the noun is connection, and we can use the preposition to with. Look at the word cool. The word cool has different meanings. The first meaning is that something which is somewhat cold. It's not warm and it's not hot. It's not very cold. It's not warm or hot. So when I say, for example, the weather is cool today, the weather is cool, it means it's not very cold and it's not very hot or warm. So it's cool, it's moderate. It's something in between. It's cool weather. What about the other meaning? The word cool can be to think and act in a calm way. To think and act in a calm way. So when I describe someone who has a cool head or he is cool, means he is calm. So it's important to keep or stay cool in crisis, in problems. In time of danger, you should stay cool. What does it mean to stay cool? Means to stay calm, not to be nervous, not to be stressed. So the opposite of cool is nervous or stressed. The third meaning of cool is fashionable or nice. It describes clothes. So we can say his clothes are cool. He's wearing a cool jacket, means it's nice or it's fashionable. So we can say he's not happy with his new shoes because they are not cool, they are not nice, they are not up to date, they are not fashionable. We have two important words, the word personal and the word personnel. What is the difference between these two words? The word personal is an adjective and the word personnel. The first one, personal, is an adjective. It describes something related to a person, something relating or affecting a particular person. It means something private. Something personal means something private or something individual. So I can say, don't ask me personal questions, means private questions. So look at this sentence, don't ask friends personal questions. This is one tip for people not to ask people a personal question because people don't feel comfortable when you ask them about their private life. So don't ask personal questions. What about personnel? Personnel is a different word. It's the Department of Human Resources in an organization. So the personnel department is the department which, for example, interview people in order to give them jobs. So we can say the personnel manager is responsible for interviewing applicants. So it's personnel means the department which is responsible for giving people or doing interview with people in order to give them jobs. So again, look at the word personal and the personnel. Personal is an adjective which means something related to person, but personnel means the Department of Human Resource. We have the expression pros and cons. What's the pros and cons? It means advantages and disadvantages. It means upside and downside. It means good points and bad points about something. So everything in our life can have some advantages and disadvantages. So it can have pros and cons. Okay, so what are pros and cons? It means advantages and disadvantages. We should hear all the pros and the cons of the matter before we decide. Now let's read the text. And before we read, we have a pre-reading question. What do you think is the most difficult thing about moving to a new town? As we said, the most difficult thing is to make friends. When you are in a new town, you are alone. You don't have any friends, you feel lonely. So the most important thing or the most difficult thing is that you will feel lonely and it won't be easy for you to make friends. How can we start a conversation with a new friend? If you wanted to start a conversation with a new friend, what should you do? I can ask him about his hobbies. If he likes football, which football team did he support? Or I can ask him about his favorite footballer or his favorite singer and about his hobbies in general, because people would like to talk about themselves. Okay? So this is one way to start a conversation. Now let's read the text together. New in town. Here we have a text about being new in town. If you are new in town and it's day one in a new school and you have got all the papers and the pens, you have got everything you wanted to have, you got all the papers and the pens you need, you are wearing cool clothes, and do you remember the word cool? We said cool means fashionable, means nice clothes, you are wearing your new uniform, and you don't know where to go. You feel confused, you don't know where to go, because it's your first day at school. And you don't know one, and you don't know any friends. So you don't know anyone, and you are not sure where to go. What would you do? Starting at a new school feels so hard. It feels so hard. It's something very difficult because you don't have any friends there to help you. It's very easy to feel stressed. What is the word stressed? Stressed means to feel nervous, to feel worried, to feel that you are not comfortable at all. So it's the opposite of cool. Cool, we said that cool means to be calm, and stressed means you are nervous. You are stressed, but life will get easier. Here are some advice to help you. And you remember the word advice with letter C is a noun, and it's uncountable noun, and we cannot make it plural. So we say some advice. We cannot add S here. We say some advice. What is the first tip? What is the first piece of advice which I can give you? The first one, don't take it for granted that people will come and make friends with you. Don't take it as something natural that people will come to start a conversation with you. You have to make effort to do that. So don't take it for granted that other students will start conversation. Ask other people questions about themselves. Everyone likes talking about himself. And look at the word everyone. Everyone takes a singular verb. It takes a singular verb. Everyone likes, but it takes a plural noun, a plural pronoun. So we say everyone likes talking about themselves, not himself. Everyone likes talking about themselves. So again, everyone takes a singular verb, but it takes a plural pronoun. Try asking them about their favorite subject. As I told you, to start a conversation with people, start talking about their hobbies, something they like. Or which sport they like, and don't ask too many personal questions. Don't ask personal questions at all. And you remember the word personal, it means a private, something private. Don't ask private or personal questions. You can only make friends if you spend the time with them. And this is another piece of advice, is that if you wanted to make friends with people, you have to spend the time together. Where can you spend this time? The best way to do this is to join clubs, to join a club, to join. Look at the word join and what is the difference between connect and join. We said connect the printer to the computer, but here we say join a club. Join the army. Join means to be a member of the club, to join the club. Or do team sport, and look the word do. Look at the word do. We say do sport. Do the sport you like. Another piece of advice is that you can go online. You can use the social media websites. Go online or look at the notes board. You remember what is the notes board? Yes, it's the board at school on which we put the important information. And find out what's happening. If you are part of a team, your teammates will feel connected to you. What's a teammate? Teammate is your fellow at the team. Your teammates will feel connected. There will be a connection between you and your teammates, and the connection will become a friendship. This connection will develop and will become a friendship. The last piece of advice is that while you are busy talking to other students, don't forget to study. Remember to do your homework so you don't have any problems with your teachers. So if you forget about your study, you will have problems with your teachers, and you need your teachers. Why? Because your teachers will give you advice on how to make friends and how to enjoy life in your new team. Talk to them too. So my advice is to have a good relation not only with your friends, but also with your teachers, and in order to have a good time at school. Okay? Now let's answer some questions about the text. The first question, what is the main idea of the text? What is the main idea? What were we talking about? Of course, we were talking about new students who should try to get to know people. They should try to make friends. They should try to start conversation together. The next question, what does the writer think is the most difficult thing about moving into a new town? Of course, the best thing is to have any friends. The most difficult thing is that you don't have any friends to help you. What shouldn't you ask other students? Do you remember what we said? What shouldn't we ask? We shouldn't ask personal questions. And of course, we have a very important question. What do team sports make to make it easier to make friends? Of course, our teammates help us to make a connection and to start talking together. Find a word in the passage which means nice. In order to say nice clothes, we can say in the text we have a word which means nice. Yes, it is a word cool. And of course, we have also the word relaxed. Here we want the antonym of relaxed. What is the antonym? The antonym is the opposite. What is the opposite of relaxed? It means stressed. Okay, so we discussed together some words which appeared in the passage. The word cool, the word stressed. The word stressed is the opposite of the word cool or the word relaxed. Okay, so now we are going to study some ways to give advice, how to give advice, how to ask first of all for advice, how to give advice, and how to respond to advice, either to accept advice or refuse advice. But we are going to do that on the mirror board. Let's go together. We are going to talk about ways how to ask for advice, how to give advice, and how to reject or accept advice. Of course, first of all, if you want to ask someone for advice, what will you say? You're going to say, for example, can you give me advice? Can you give me advice about something? Can you give me advice, for example, about how to study English, about how to make new friends? Can you give me advice about something? Okay? طب, if you wanted to give advice, what will you do? We have different ways to give advice. First of all, you can say you should plus verb infinitive. So, for example, if you are asking me about ways to make friends, for example, I can say you should join a team. You say you should plus verb infinitive. You can say you ought to plus verb infinitive. You can say you had better. You had better plus verb infinitive. For example, you can say you had better start conversation with people. You had better go online. You can use also the expression, if I were you, I would. If I were you, I would. If I were you, I would. So it's an expression also which expresses advice. I put myself in your situation. If I were you, I would study hard. If I were you, I would get up early. So again, it's a way to give advice. So we can say you should, you ought to, you had better, or if I were you, I would. What about accepting or rejecting advice? If you accept advice, you will say that's a good idea. Accept. If you want to accept this advice, you will say it's a good idea. What about if you wanted to reject or refuse this advice? What will you say? You will say, I'm not sure. You can say, I'd rather not. You can say, I'm not sure if it is a good idea. So here are ways of asking for advice. Can you give me advice about something? Ways to give advice, you should, you ought to, you had better, or if I were you, I would. Accepting advice, we can say it's a good idea, or I agree with you. You can reject the idea or refuse this advice by saying, I'm not sure, I'd rather not. Okay, so these are ways to give advice and to reject or refuse advice. As you have seen, we studied in Unit 4 how to make friends. We have some tips or some pieces of advice how to make friends. We said that we shouldn't ask people for personal questions. We should start talking to people and not take it for granted that people will come and make friends with us. We should spend the time with people in order to make friends with them, so we can join clubs together in order to be friends. We have some important vocab which we should focus on, like the word call, like the word, the expression take it for granted, like the word notes board and connection, and so many words which we have taken. So I want you to study these words well and to practice answering about them. Until we meet again next time, wish you best of luck. Goodbye.
أولى ثانوي، فرصة جديدة وحلم جديد، وهنعديها بالتأكيد. وهنعديها بالتأكيد.